Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Leadership Lessons with Cheri, the place where you get just those little nuggets of information so that you can be that leader that you knew you were born to be. It's been an interesting journey this week in leadership for me because I'm working on something. I think I'm going to go ahead and announce it today, but I am working on a program with a colleague that we're going to be releasing to run our first session live in person in Houston, Texas, the first week of February, first full week of February for it's called the 21st Century Female Leader. And we're going to be doing a leadership certification program for female leaders who really believe in the power of leadership, who want to really perfect their skills. Because sometimes we get into these positions and number one, we don't know what we're doing. Or number two, we are promised support and mentorship, but it's not always there. Or just number three, we want to continue to grow and evolve, and we want to be part of a good, solid female group of leaders that can help us understand the situations and the different types of just the different types of things that as female leaders we encounter on a daily, hourly basis in our lives and in our positions. That program is going to be amazing. I can promise you that. I'm so excited for the results that we're going to see. As I mentioned, we're going to do our first one live. We are looking at possibly doing a hybrid model in the future. But if you are in the Houston area for sure, and you are interested in getting more information about that, as the next couple of weeks come along, I definitely want you to feel free to reach out so that we can get that information for you. In addition to that, I've been working on certifying my own business, Cheri Dixon Consulting, so that I have that knowledge, skill, and also credibility to what I do. I'm pretty new in this industry, coming from public education, been a leader for years in that realm, and now transitioning my knowledge and skills into the world of business. I want to make sure that I can still be that known authority to be able to go out and help leaders all over the world be their very, very best. And so in the process of certifying, I've been asked to possibly come on board with that company and do some consulting, some contracting with them, and also possibly contribute to some of their projects. So I'm really looking forward to that. I should be solidifying some of that information here in the next month as I wrap some of those things up. So that is exciting news as well. It just makes me really know, and what I want to really put out there to y'all, if you dream it, if you believe it, and you put the hard work in to go with it, it can come true. I had this philosophy way back in the day, think smarter, not harder, right? Because I was working hard and I felt like I was working hard and I was spinning my wheels and just not going anywhere when it came to leadership. But it was when I started to think differently. How could I do this in a different way where I still could balance my home life? How could I do this in a different way where I still made people the priority while holding them accountable? Just those different tweaks and out of the box thinking sometimes really does make a huge difference in your leadership journey. And again, that's the reason that I stepped into this role, to be able to help leaders be the best that they can be. Because we all know that some of us are just born to be leaders, but some of us really develop that skill. And we learn that we can support others and have a bigger impact the bigger our roles become, I guess I should say. So having said that, my little tip for this week for y'all is actually one that I think is super timely right now. This is the time of year where everybody is really under a lot of stress and overwhelm. Whether you're working in a school or you're working in corporate America, I don't think it really matters at this time of the year. Even if you're watching this and you're a solopreneur, you are working at home and you're a one-woman show or one-man show, I guess I should say. I think we all feel this because it's that time of the year where we're wrapping up the calendar year, right? So we know that there are so many things that are due by December 31. If you're in a school, of course, you're looking at, okay, I'm getting ready for that Christmas break. We know that we all want to be on break, so we have to take care of all of these things. I just shared on my teacher YouTube channel this week that this is that time of year where evaluations are taking place and into the semester testing and all of the things. If you're working in a business, you're trying to make sure that you accomplish those Q3 goals or your year-long goals. You're reflecting. You may find that your reflection really is showing you that you had some really great results. You may find that there are some areas that you need to continue to improve in. I was listening to a podcast from Brendan Burchard this morning, and as I'm recording this is on Monday, December 4th, and he was talking about if you cannot be a lifelong learner, you can't really be a leader, right? And so as we continue to do those reflections and we see that there are areas that we need to improve, we need to learn the skill to be able to make those improvements. And so that's one more thing on top of everything we're doing, because we want to go into the next calendar year strong. When none of us start our businesses or step into our leadership roles just to be average. We want to be the best leader that we possibly can be. So this week's little tip for you is staying calm, even when circumstances make it difficult to do so. One thing about being the leader, we all know this. Everybody looks to us for the climate of the organization. Everybody. If we're having a bad day and we're showing it, everybody's going to know it because they're watching us. And chances are they're going to take on that energy. If we feel unmotivated, if we feel that we're not going to make goals, that we feel something in a negative manner, that energy is just as contagious as positive energy, motivation is. And people are going to start replicating your energy. Now, one thing that I knew about one of the leaders that I had in the past is that when one little thing started to go wrong, this person would get so upset. And the way they handled speaking to others was scary. It was almost to a place where you knew if you started to see a specific look on this person's face, you just stepped back. You just removed yourself from the situation and you just avoided that person for the remainder of the day. You never knew what you were going to get from that person. You just never knew what it was going to be. And I have to tell you, I think that having that happen, we're human, right? If we're not self-aware and cognizant that we're doing that, it can happen to any of us. I'll give you an example. The first year I went into this last school, it was very, very stressful and overwhelming. I felt as if we were making a lot of progress, and then we had some shifting in staff at the district level. And when those shifts came into play, things got changed to where I was hired in to bring my team to do my thing, and I was basically kind of left alone to do it. But once that shift came in those upper admin, I had more questions, more pushback. We still made our goals. And as a matter of fact, we exceeded the goals that we had set for ourselves, but it was a different climate. It was hard to remain calm, to remain in that positive state all the time because of those circumstances. And especially when you're already tired and you're already overwhelmed. Well, I remember there was a day in December, this time of year, which I say is a very difficult time of the year. And we were having a rainy day dismissal. We don't get snow typically here in Houston, but we do get in the wintertime a lot of rain. And this rain in particular was going to be, it was forecasted to be a flooding rain. And it definitely came in that way. And so that early on in this whole situation, I had not had a day quite like this during dismissal at this school in particular. And I have to be honest, I didn't handle it the best. People were not listening. They were just doing what they knew to do from years prior. when I would go to them and ask them to do it a different way, either I wasn't being clear with my communication, I'll own that, or they were not capable of doing it the way I wanted them to do it, or maybe they just didn't want to make the change, right? I mean, that could possibly happen too. But it was a sheer disaster, and I didn't handle it the best. And so a week later, when we had come together for our faculty meeting, I had to, what they say here in Texas, eat some crow. I had to really, really bite the bullet. And I had to step up and publicly apologize to my staff. And I did tell them, this is something we're going to be working on, because I truly can see this was an area that I will take responsibility for, that I had not put into place exactly what we were wanting to do because I didn't understand it at the time. However, that does not give me the excuse to be able to just talk to you the way that I did. And I have to say that that preserved the relationships that I was finding to be important to build that first year in. So here are my tips for how you can make sure that you stay calm in situations. Number one, make sure that you're well planned and prepared. And sometimes you have to kind of think about what are all the things that could possibly happen in this situation. And it might even mean talking to people, especially if you're new in the position and you might not have had the experience. But get that information as much as you can. You will never, ever have a plan for every scenario that can possibly take place. However, the more planned and prepared you are, the more you have something to anchor to it and you can accommodate. Number two, you need to remember, when it gets stressful, if you have to step away, it's okay. Step away. Step away and take a breath. Think before you speak. Breathe before you go and attack on someone, okay? Because again, it's in crisis that people notice your reactions a whole lot more than in times of celebration. So just remember that your people are watching you. You really determine the energy of the situation, and it's okay. We're human. It's okay to feel on call. Just step away so that you can get your composure before you walk into it. And number three, give yourself that grace. If you do make the mistake, you do say something that you know you're going to regret later, we're human and people understand that. Just own it. Own it, step up, make the apology, do what you need to do to repair those relationships, because your people will feel better about you in the end. Because number one, they're going to see that you are human and you're not perfect. And number two, that you own, you take on the responsibility of your reactions. And I think that that is super powerful as the leader. All right, guys, those are my thoughts for this week on leadership lessons with Cheri. Hopefully it's something you can really use. I like this topic because this is real life stuff, y'all. That's what I want to bring to you. Not the stuff that you can go get your college degree and learn in a textbook, but the stuff that really is going to move the needle, the stuff that's going to make a difference, and the stuff that's going to make you the leader that you were born to be. All right, have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next week right here on Leadership Lessons with Cheri.